Je pense que pour lancer une marque aujourd'hui, il faut vraiment avoir quelque chose à dire de précis et de bien ficelé, avoir un vrai concept, une vraie idée et un vrai style.
I'm a young fashion journalist. For 1 year, I travelled across the globe to meet some of the most incredible women of the fashion industry. Starting in Paris, then London and finally New York City, I came across women who are making fashion history. They are not only designers, they are bloggers, models, journalists, photographers, chief curators, and even a hairstylist. These women not only showed me their work, we talked about their careers, lives, and their hopes and dreams for the future. All of these women are bold, they are brilliant, passionate, talented, kind, and inspiring. This is my journey, these are their stories. Ce sont elles.
À la vôtre, champagne!
My journey begins in Europe, where I'm going to meet two amazing designers. They both started in their 20s after attending a prestigious fashion school. First off, the Parisian queen, Isabel Marant, who just launched her first menswear collection for the spring-summer 2018. Then I went to London to meet Maurine Katrantzou, the Greek designer and fellow Central St. Martin's graduate, who keeps inviting us into her beautiful and colourful world season after season. These women are both incredibly talented, driven, and have established themselves as references in the international fashion landscape. A quick history. In the 1930s, women reigned and revolutionized fashion. Coco Chanel, Madeleine Vionnet, Elzia Schiaparelli, Jeanne Lanvin simplified and modernized the wardrobe. After the war, it was Christian Dior and his new look that revived the industry. But the 60s marked the return of women with Sonia Rykiel leading the charge and Diane von Furstenberg and Donna Karan on the other side of the Atlantic. These women gave birth to ready-to-wear. In the 80s, a new generation was born, powerful, bolder, with the rebellious Vivienne Westwood, Miuccia Prada in Italy and Rei Kawakubo of Comme des Garçons in Paris. The generation of the 2000s was led by Phoebe Philo, artistic director of Celine, who brought female empowerment back to high fashion. She defied the impossible standards of the fashion industry and reinforced Celine's reputation as the fashion house for the highbrow, intellectual woman, making everybody crazy for Celine. Unfortunately, the glass ceiling is still present in fashion. In 2016, only 30 of the 92 brands showing in Paris were designed by female designers. But on July 8, 2016, history was made with the appointment of Maria Grazia Chiuri as artistic director of the historic House of Dior. This appointment was the starting point for the huge changes fashion has undergone this year. I'm on my way to meet one of the most successful designers in Paris, Isabel Marant. She studied at the fashion school Le Studio Berceau and started her own brand in 1994, working from her home. Her clothes are a combination of androgynous chic and bohemian nonchalance. She's making the clothes we want to wear every day. 22 years after starting her company, Isabel Marant now has 25 stores in 15 countries. I went to see her Autumn-Winter 2018 show at the Palais Royal to meet the Queen of French coolness in person.
J'avais envie de continuer un peu ce que j'avais entamé pour la collection d'été. Avec les imprimés, avec des épaules, avec une féminité contrebalancée par quelque chose de plus androgyne et de l'énergie, du confort, de la joie. Le jour du défilé, je suis jamais stressée parce que pour moi, c'est des vacances, c'est l'achèvement de 2 mois et demi de travail intense. Et c'est toujours un grand moment de bonheur d'avoir toutes ces sublimes filles, de réunir tous ces gens et cette énergie.
Isabel Marant succeeds in exporting the French cool girl style around the globe. On a late Saturday morning, I went to see her in her studio.
Bonjour, enchantée. Comment j'ai démarré ma propre marque? À 20 ans, j'ai commencé à faire une ligne d'accessoires qui était assez conceptuelle. C'était des bagues assorties à des boucles de ceinture. En fait, c'était un moyen pour moi de commencer en ayant mon propre investissement et en n'ayant pas trop à investir, parce que quand on commence et qu'on a 20 ans, on n'a pas beaucoup d'argent et il faut être malin pour faire avec des bouts de ficelle. Mon processus de création, en général, ça revient toujours d'un rejet et d'un dégoût de ce que je viens de faire et d'une frustration totale d'avoir eu l'impression de pas arriver là où j'avais envie d'aller. C'est tellement court que les délais qu'on a pour créer. Je commence toujours par analyser ça et aussi me demander pourquoi encore des vêtements, parce qu'on en a tellement dans nos placards, et il y a tellement d'offres, et il y a tellement de choses qu'on se demande aussi qu'est-ce qu'on a à dire de plus.
She had more to say, menswear. For her collaboration with H&M in 2013, Isabel dipped her toe into menswear, and it caused quite the frenzy. 4 years later, in 2017, she decided to show her first menswear collection.
L'homme, c'est vraiment quelque chose qui m'a toujours énormément intéressée, mais par manque de temps, j'ai jamais réussi à vraiment lancer une collection. J'étais tellement frustrée et qu'il y avait une telle évidence pour moi de faire une collection homme, surtout de décliner sur ma collection étoile. Il y avait des choses qui étaient quand même assez vues de loin, faciles à faire. En fait, quand on met les doigts dans la prise, c'est pas si facile à faire que ça, parce que il suffit pas juste de traduire ce qu'on fait pour la femme, pour l'homme, mais c'était aussi pour moi un nouveau coup de fraîcheur et une nouvelle excitation. Donc voilà, ça faisait longtemps que ça me gratouillait et je me suis dit, bon allez, on y va. Il y a vraiment des passerelles parce que je m'inspire énormément de la garde-robe masculine. J'ai toujours été une amoureuse du vêtement de travail, du vêtement militaire, du vêtement de sport. J'aime cette idée de la femme qui pique des vêtements à son homme et de l'homme qui pique des vêtements à sa femme. Je ne l'ai jamais calculé, ça s'est fait de manière complètement organique. Et si j'avais imaginé en démarrant que ça allait m'emmener là, je ne suis pas sûre que j'aurais fait tout ça comme ça. J'ai toujours dit que je m'arrêterais en temps et en heure avant de devenir la ringarde de quelqu'un d'autre. J'essaye de former mon équipe un maximum pour qu'ils puissent continuer un jour après moi. Voilà, advienne que pourra.
I'm leaving Isabel Marant and Paris to go to another fashion city, London. London is the cradle of many talented designers, from John Galliano to Paul Smith and even Dame Vivienne Westwood. I'm in the Old Smoke to meet one of London's fashion's fastest rising stars. She is the living embodiment of every fashion student's dream. Maurine Katrantzou studied architecture before joining the internationally famous fashion school of Central St. Martin's. She then founded her independent label right after graduation.
Between doing my master's and deciding on launching my business, there wasn't a moment of contemplation. And I think when I look back, it's probably for the best, because I think had I known how difficult it is to work in this industry, I would have a lot more inhibitions. Whereas I went in full on, didn't think there's any chance of failure. I was ambitious and I was focused and driven, and I loved what I was doing because I was learning so much.
With her first collection in 2008, Maurine Katrantzou immediately conquered the press and buyers, who acclaimed her the Queen of Prints because of her inventive use of digital prints.
Print is a huge part of my collection. For a moment, I wanted to pull back because I felt that when you have something so visually impactful on the runway, whatever else you're doing, it kind of fades away because the center focus is on the boldest expression. And so I felt it was a moment to kind of build on different pillars and kind of see your bandwidth as a designer and build a wider world for the woman we're dressing.
Yes. Are we sure? Yeah. Yes. Okay, good.
After less than a decade in the industry, Maurine developed the narrative around her brand while staying true to her vision. As she is only a few minutes away from showing her autumn-winter 2018 collection, Maurine is guiding her team through the last preparations.
It looks really nice. Okay, girls, following me, please. All models, this way onto the catwalk.
It was a promise that was said time and time, again and again. Now I'm excited over my head.
The last show was actually the first show we collaborated with Disney, and the collection was based around the 1940s film Fantasia and juxtaposed with 1940s film noir. And there's something quite beautiful in trying to translate that into an embroidery or into a print or into a seam.
Just to get your hopes up right.
When I started, I was aware of the fact that weren't that many women in leadership roles on the design side, and I was in disadvantage because of it, but at the same time you are aware because you're looking for models to aspire to, and there's not that many to look up to. So the women that I aspire to and the women who are my mentors weren't necessarily designers. They were in the industry, and they were very powerful women who had the strength of their conviction. You know, I've always said when I've been asked, even at the beginning, it is an advantage being a woman designer because the way you approach the garment, not only the pragmatic side of actually wearing it and trying it and functioning like a model for your own brand, there's a different sensitivity. And I think I've always tried to have a very balanced team between men and women because I think it's great for the dialogue you have and for the intercourse. But I think it is slightly different in its approach, in how you approach a woman's body and how you approach the different roles that a woman occupies in her daily life. It's important to have more female voices giving that balance of how you look at fashion. I think that's what makes it more interesting when it's diverse enough to push fashion forward.
I don't believe in promising something said just to get your hopes up right. Cause when it's bright, you feel like you wanna break down.
Isabel Marant and Katrantzou are both writing their story in fashion history and showing the world that talent has nothing to do with gender. This year, Claire Waite-Keller was appointed at Givenchy.
Sometimes I fear you're getting colder. I'd let you in, but then you might just pull away. Sometimes I think I need
Natasha Ramsey-Levy made her debuts at Chloé.
Everything you touch turns into gold.
The next generation of designers have a variety of role models to look up to and more inspiration to guide their way.
Intentions for me, intentions for me. What are yours?
Be like, I do have great things to say.
Cause I don't wanna turn you off, just turn you on. How come I feel so right inside?
À la vôtre, champagne!
Intentions for me, baby. Wearing your jacket home at night to keep me warm. I won't admit that I keep falling. What are yours?
It's a great industry to work in as a woman. I've so few times ever felt like my opinion or existence was being undermined because of my gender. And that is absolutely a byproduct of the industry that I work in.
I'm a young fashion journalist. For 1 year, I travelled across the globe to meet some of the most incredible women of the fashion industry. Starting in Paris, then London, and finally New York City, I came across women who are making fashion history. They are not only designers, they are bloggers, models, journalists, photographers, chief curators, and even a hairstylist. These women not only showed me their work, we talked about their careers, lives, and their hopes and dreams for the future. All of these women are bold. They are brilliant, passionate, talented, kind, and inspiring. This is my journey. These are their stories. Ce sont elles.
À la vôtre, champagne!
My journey continues in Paris. This time, I'm going to meet some of the most powerful women creating fashion narratives. From the founder of Man Repeller, Leandra Medine, to the fashion critic Robin Gavin, and finally the chief curator Pamela Golbin, these women are in the top positions in their fields. In 2010, a young graduate in journalism founded Man Repeller, a personal blog about trends that women love and men hate. Like 1.5 million others, I used to spend hours reading Leandra Medine's hilarious, ingenious and didactic articles. Man Repeller was unique because of Leandra's way with words and her ability to marry high fashion aesthetics with a comedic approach.
Hey, hi, nice to meet you.
Likewise. I launched Man Repeller to hand in with my resume when I was going to apply for jobs after college. I was still a junior in school when I started it. I often say that it's an accidental business, which is a blessing and a curse because, you know, now 7 years later, I'm running a business and that's really quite special. But to that, for the first 3 years that I was in business, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for the moment to end. I think I launched about a year before Instagram launched. And just after Instagram launched, I realized that for all of the outfits that I was posting to my blog and writing these long narratives relative to the outfits, I could be doing the same exact thing on Instagram, and all of my audience can be reaping the same benefits, but from their mobile device. So I thought to myself that if I didn't want my site to go extinct, if I wanted to differentiate myself from the rest of the personal style bloggers that would become influencers, it was probably in my best interest to use my journalism degree and whatever business acumen that I had and begin to build a team. It's very wrought to take what you know has worked for so long and change a model that already has all of the revenue streams operating behind it and then try and rejigger it. But it's also the beauty of risk and the adrenaline rush that comes with change that forces you out of your comfort zone into the unknown and allows you to fall into a new territory that ultimately makes you a far better writer and person. And I'm quite passionate about the stories that we publish on Man Repeller, about the relationships that we've developed with the audience members who read the site, about the community that we're fostering. It's a really unique and small space on the internet that is genuinely judgment-free, that allows you to marvel in your most trivial pursuits. And the writers of Man Repeller have become micro digital celebrities unto themselves. You know, they're developing their own followings and creating these interesting communities and audiences around their opinions. And that's exactly what I always wanted, was just people with really strong voices to come together under this one unified platform. I want for Man Repeller to outlive me more than anything else professionally. I think about that almost every single day, about how to make myself unnecessary to the success of the business, about what it would take for Man Repeller readers to reap all of the same intrinsic benefits that they reap when they're engaging with my content if I were not there. I don't want it to go away because I get tired one day. And I know myself, and I will get tired one day.
Before the creation of the internet and the birth of bloggers, fashion journalists were some of the most powerful people in the industry. A few of them, like Robin Gavin, still are today. Robin Gavin is the fashion editor for The Washington Post. She started her career covering menswear for the Detroit Free Press before working for the Daily Beast. She even had a short stint at American Vogue. In 2006, she was the first fashion writer to receive a Pulitzer Prize in criticism. Robin Gavin's voice has the potential to introduce new perspectives and ideas within an industry that relies on constant change.
The industry has gotten bigger and bigger, and its reach has gotten so global. It's been extraordinarily beneficial to the industry, but with that, I think, comes an enormous amount of responsibility as well. And sometimes it takes something of an outsider to remind the industry of its responsibility, and also to see the places where it might be lacking. From the public's end, there's often, the line has gotten blurred, and I think they're often sort of confused about what is news, what is criticism, and what's a fan club. We have these long-standing myths in fashion of the designer and his muse, you know, and so there were these kind of discrete roles for women in fashion that go back for so many years, and I don't think we've shaken off those sorts of stereotypes. Female designers are held to a different standard or judged differently than male designers. I think male designers often are given greater liberty to be just purely creative. And female designers, there is this assumption that there should be this element of pragmatism running through their collection, because there's this assumption that they're designing for themselves, or this assumption that they should have this very intimate understanding of what a woman needs in her day-to-day life, and she should be solving problems. I think that if the same kind of inequities that exist in fashion exist, you know, or fashion was taken as seriously as some other industries, the inequities that exist in fashion would have activists standing outside of design houses protesting and picketing.
Fashion isn't limited to runways and magazines. It also exists in museums all over the world. In 1983, Yves Saint Laurent was the first designer to show in a museum. Pamela Golbin is one of the chief curators of the Musée des Arts Décoratifs, located in the Palais du Louvre. She is the youngest chief curator ever appointed in France and has overseen the fashion and textiles department for the past 25 years.
Je suis historienne d'art de formation. J'ai fait mes études à Columbia University à New York et j'ai commencé à travailler au Metropolitan en même temps. Donc pendant l'année à New York, j'étais au Met et en été, j'étais ici aux Arts Déco, ce qui fait que quand j'ai terminé mes études d'histoire de l'art, j'avais déjà presque 5 ans d'expérience dans les plus grandes collections du monde à New York et à Paris, et j'ai été nommée à l'âge de 23 ans conservateur aux arts décoratifs. Comment crée-t-on une exposition? Ça, c'est un grand projet à chaque fois. Il faut déjà le thème, que ça soit à travers un créateur, que ça soit un thème qui parcourt l'histoire, et ensuite on va décliner, on va concevoir comme un livre toute la structure de cette histoire qu'on va raconter. Il y a tout l'aspect manéquinage des œuvres, donc parfois ça peut prendre plusieurs mois parce qu'il faut reconstituer les corps de chacune des pièces qui est a priori presque fait sur mesure pour les clientes qui les ont données à la collection. Les vêtements, les pièces, les œuvres restent parfaitement bien conservées, mais aussi puissent donner l'allure que nous avons définie dès le départ de chaque exposition. La collection est vivante, donc on continue à faire entrer des pièces plusieurs fois par an. On a des comités scientifiques et tous les conservateurs doivent remettre, presque comme des avocats, des dossiers. Parfois il faut attendre, mais les pièces finissent toujours par arriver et rentrer presque à la maison ici à Paris, dans les collections nationales.
No matter what fashion's future holds, the only certainty is that we'll always be looking back. And one aspect of Pamela's job is to make sure we'll always be able to. As they say, the best way to predict the future is to create it.
fashion industry is one of the most influential industries that there is.
I'm a young fashion journalist. For 1 year, I travelled across the globe to meet some of the most incredible women of the fashion industry. Starting in Paris, then London, and finally New York City, I came across women who are making fashion history. They are not only designers, they are bloggers, models, journalists, photographers, chief curators, and even a hairstylist. These women not only showed me their work, we talked about their careers, lives, and their hopes and dreams for the future. All of these women are bold. They are brilliant, passionate, talented, kind, and inspiring. This is my journey. These are their stories. Ce sont elles.
À la vôtre, champagne!
After meeting with designers and journalists, I wanted to meet the woman working behind the images. From the photographers Sonia Sief and Amanda de Cadenet to the hairstylist Odile Gilbert and the model and activist Bethan Hardison, these women are behind the brilliance of image creation. I'm in Paris at the A Gallery, where Sonia Sief is celebrating the release of her new book. Sonia Sief is a French photographer. Tonight, she is beginning a new chapter of her life with the publication of her first book of nude images called Les Françaises. The book features 155 portraits of women that Sonia captured over the course of 4 years. The photographs are delicate, intimate, and are taken from Sonia's female perspective and her ability to highlight the nude body without sexualizing it or retouching it. The day after the release, we had coffee in one of the most secret places in Paris, l'Hôtel Particulier.
Le nu, c'est encore autre chose, c'est le corps, c'est l'intimité, c'est la confiance, c'est la psychologie. Ça, c'est une partie extrêmement importante du photographe, c'est le rapport en fait à l'autre. Je me suis dit qu'en fait, on s'en foutait complètement que les filles soient connues ou pas. Parce que ce qui était intéressant, c'était que les filles soient intéressantes et qu'il y avait des milliards de filles qui n'étaient pas connues, qui étaient intéressantes.
Check yourself, what you feel, what you know.
La clé chez moi, c'est l'intime. Je leur ai dit, voilà, vous allez être belles parce que je sais rendre les femmes belles. Il y avait l'idée de rentrer dans leur intimité à elles et donc de travailler chez elles. C'est un hymne aux femmes.
Catch yourself, think about what is left.
En fait, c'est plus les Parisiennes que les Françaises. Déjà, toutes les Françaises ne sont pas représentées. C'est des filles qui sont proches de moi, donc de mes quartiers. Et après, c'est sûr que j'aurais voulu plus de mixité. Et je voulais faire quand même un livre représentatif de la société. Il ne l'est pas totalement. C'est un regret. Un shooting de mode, ça se passe déjà en travaillant avec la styliste en amont. On a des références, on part sur une époque ou sur une direction. Ensuite, on réfléchit au look. Après, évidemment, il faut voir la fille. Donc le casting est méga important parce qu'il faut une bonne fille, ça c'est la clé. Donc il faut caster la fille, réfléchir à quoi elle peut correspondre à l'histoire qu'on a envie de raconter. Un shooting de mode, c'est une histoire. Il faut aimer les gens pour les photographier, il faut aimer la mode pour lui rendre hommage.
I'm leaving the talented Sonia to go to the Alexis Mabi show to spend some time with Odile Gilbert, one of the most respected hairstylists in the industry.
Oui, en fait, juste si tu plaques là, et on laisse ça comme ça, quoi. Okay.
Odile Gilbert is the essential companion for great designers, photographers, and directors. She started her career on set with Helmut Newton and is behind the incredible hairstyles of the Jean-Paul Gaultier shows. She is also one of the only 2 hairstylists in the history of France to have been named Chevalier des Arts et des Lettres.
La coiffure, on la fait pas comme ça, il faut faire des écoles et tout ça. La mienne, c'était 3 ans déjà. Parce que dans la coiffure, il n'y a pas juste coiffer, il y a toute la partie chimique, coloration, décoloration, etc. La partie coupe, il y a plusieurs étapes. Et après, j'ai eu la chance de travailler avec un coiffeur qui était très connu et qui m'a appris, parce qu'il y a beaucoup de choses qu'on n'apprend pas forcément dans une école de coiffure. J'ai fait le film de Sofia Coppola, Marie-Antoinette. J'ai aussi travaillé un petit peu pour le théâtre. C'est intéressant de passer d'un milieu à un autre. C'est assez génial.
Since starting her career in the 70s, Odile has also worked with photographers Richard Avedon, Annie Leibovitz, Mario Testino and Peter Lindbergh, as well as with designers John Galliano and Carolina Herrera, providing her expertise and her talent to create iconic images.
Pour le défilé d'Alexis Mabille, on a une matière assez plaquée sur le haut de la tête avec une raie de côté et on a des vagues mousseuses dans le bas, en fait, des cheveux. Donc ça fait 1/4, 3/4. On a une opposition dans le style de la coiffure.
C'est facile parce qu'on se connaît depuis tellement longtemps qu'en général elle sait ce que j'aime déjà. Et puis on fait des essais. Donc moi je lui présente la collection, je lui envoie des photos au fur et à mesure aussi de comment avance la collection. À partir de là, elle réfléchit aussi de son côté et on fait un rendez-vous avec une mannequin, les maquillages aussi parce qu'on aime bien faire tout ensemble pour avoir vraiment une vue d'ensemble correcte entre comment ça va réagir, entre l'œil, la bouche, les cheveux, etc. La beauté de toute façon c'est un tout on va dire. Et on travaille pendant 3-4 heures ensemble à faire plusieurs essais jusqu'à ce qu'on ait le look du show.
Et comme vous êtes 3, là, il y en a un qui peut venir m'aider, parce que moi, je suis toute seule, là. OK. Bon, allez, hop. Bon, allez, on est prêts. On est prêts. On est prêts. Moi j'adore, enfin je trouve qu'on a beaucoup de chance de travailler dans la mode, de voyager, d'aller partout, rencontrer des gens de toutes les nationalités, et tout ça c'est extraordinaire. On apprend beaucoup de choses.
As you may know, the world of photography, whether in fashion or not, is still currently mainly male. I wanted to learn more about the female perspective. So here I am in New York to meet a talented journalist and photographer who is also the founder and CEO of the Girl Gaze project, Amanda de Cadenet. The Girl Gaze community was created to close the gender gap by bringing visibility and jobs for women behind the lens. This project started with only the hashtag Girl Gaze and now encompasses a museum exhibit, a talent agency, and a book.
I don't think there are fewer women photographers. I think fewer women photographers are hired. I know that there are just as many female photographers because I work with them and I see their work and I see how many incredibly talented young women there are. I think they're just not getting the same opportunities. They're not getting invited to sit at the table in the same way that men have. When the only images, or let's say the majority of images that we see of ourselves, of females, are seen through the male gaze, how can we see an honest, authentic representation of ourselves? And that's not a criticism, it's just that it's completely different. I started Girl Gaze because there is a monumental gender gap in the photography industry, and the female gaze is so underrepresented that it's about time we do something about it. You know, we just want to provide a platform that is inclusive of as many points of view as possible, just to say, hey, here's some other ways of looking at things. And it's really engaging, it's really interesting, it's really beautiful, it's really challenging, it's really provocative, it's all these things. The Girl Gaze book is called Girl Gaze, How Girls See the World, and is curated from the 2.8 million submissions we've had of girls sharing pictures on how they see the world. It covers photojournalism, it covers beauty, it covers fashion, it covers, reportage, and it is really, I think, a pretty accurate representation of how girls are seeing the world in 2017. It addresses mental health issues, it addresses body issues, it addresses sexuality, relationships to oneself and partners. And I have to think that given the amount of submissions we've had, curating from that pool, I hope has created a very real-time and honest representation of the girl perspective.
The next woman I am meeting also had a tremendous impact on the industry and on the images you see in the media. She is a cultural icon. Bethan Hardison was a pioneering African-American model of the 70s. After her modeling career, she founded her own modeling agency, Bethan Management, in the late 80s and became a champion for promoting diversity. In July 2008, Bethan also helped develop and edit the groundbreaking and highly successful all-black issue of Vogue Italia with the late Franca Sozzani.
I knew I had to do something different than was being done because I wanted to really change how people saw things. I needed to do something a little bit more interesting. But they thought because I was of color, I had an agency that was for black models, which was not true. So I could easily see how the top girls boys were different, but the top girls I had would do very well at one thing, and I could see that the same caliber of girl, but of color, would be asked to do these things or would get a different rate. So these things I started to know, so I could easily talk to my clients about it and ask them about things and question them about things and educate them in the way I said it. And then there started to be more girls of color in the magazines, more girls of color on the magazine cover. Then they start doing catalog, then they start doing advertising, and then it started to be a good thing. That was 93. By 1996, I was like, I could get out. I could get out of my business, get away from it all. So I went to Mexico, lay in my hammock, do my thing, and I started getting phone calls about somewhere around 98, 99. What had been happening is model agencies were getting notifications from the casting directors. Casting directors didn't exist when I had a model agency, saying no blacks, no ethnics. They would say before the show started, they would send a notice saying no blacks, no ethnics to the model agencies. So that would immediately make the model agency say to any girl or boy of color, I'm sorry, but they're not seeing blacks this season.
In September 2013, on behalf of the Diversity Coalition, a group of like-minded advocates and industry members, Bethan wrote an open letter to the governing bodies of the fashion weeks in New York, London, Milan, and Paris, finally addressing and highlighting the racism prevalent in the industry.
And then that became great, because then what that happened, then nobody wants to be thought of as racist. It's like, oh God, especially creative people. That's not their intent. But that's what's bad for me, because in my mind, I think that's worse than being consciously racist, is your ignorance. And you could play that card for so long. I never did have fear, because I also know my industry, and I really care very much about it. I came from before most of these people came from, and nothing but good things happen. So that's really great.
Her call and fight for diversity was heard by the industry, which not only started to improve regarding representation in shows and campaigns, but also acknowledged the important work Bethan has been doing all this time. In 2014, she received the CFDA Founder Award, one of the most prestigious awards in fashion.
That's the joy of it. You can say something that's not pleasing to the ear of maybe someone, and maybe, part of that industry falls underneath of what you're saying, but they cannot deny that what you're doing is helping to change how people are thinking, how it should be, and it's improving a part of the industry. And I thought that was really mad cool. I don't know if there'll be anybody who comes along after me and says, okay, if I'm gone, as many designers and people have said, who's going to be the one? But it won't matter who it is, as long as it's somebody's voice. And I want to thank you very much for appreciating me, appreciating those beautiful, beautiful, beautiful girls up there.
Given its tremendous power to communicate, the fashion industry can and is doing more to convey compelling narratives about women and girls. And having women behind the lens is one step in the right direction.
la manière un peu old school de faire les choses où il faut gravir les échelons un par un et donc quand t'arrives en haut, t'es un peu dans ta tour d'argent, ça n'existe plus.
I'm a young fashion journalist. For 1 year, I travelled across the globe to meet some of the most incredible women of the fashion industry. Starting in Paris, then London, and finally New York City, I came across women who are making fashion history. They are not only designers, they are bloggers, models, journalists, photographers, chief curators, and even a hairstylist. These women not only showed me their work, we talked about their careers, lives, and their hopes and dreams for the future. All of these women are bold, they are brilliant, passionate, talented, kind, and inspiring. This is my journey, these are their stories. Ce sont elles.
À la vôtre, champagne!
Fashion just went through a digital revolution that opened the sealed doors of the industry to the world. The arrival of the internet has given birth to a new generation that is freer, bolder, and more socially committed. From the blogger Camille Charrière to editor-in-chief Alice Pfeiffer, models and activists Clémentine Dessau and Tony Garn, and finally, fashion editor Veronica Hellbrunner, the new faces of the industry found their voices and their audience through the internet. I'm back in the beautiful city of Paris, where I had the chance to meet Camille Charrière. Camille started her blog Camille Over the Rainbow in 2010 while she was having a hard time working in finance. She quickly decided to follow her passion and fully commit to this new job. She is now a successful blogger, podcaster and stylist.
Je me suis dit, bon, si je postule pour un stage chez Vogue, le temps de pouvoir devenir quelqu'un dans mon industrie, j'ai 40 ans, donc j'ai pas le temps. Donc qu'est-ce que je vais faire? Je vais me démarquer autrement. Et aujourd'hui, maintenant, je me fais inviter en mon nom. Ça fait que 3 ans que je bosse dans la mode au final, vraiment. Donc je serais jamais là si j'étais passée par les chemins conventionnels. Je me suis rendu compte que j'avais pas besoin pour être dans la mode d'être une mannequin ou d'être designer, qu'il y avait en fait des métiers au milieu dont j'avais pas vraiment pris connaissance quand j'étais un peu plus jeune. Et c'est là où je me suis dit, ah en fait j'ai envie d'écrire, j'ai envie de partager et j'ai envie de critiquer et j'ai envie d'avoir une opinion. J'ai toujours été comme ça. Quand j'étais petite, je tenais un journal que je vendais à toute ma famille, etc. J'ai toujours été celle qui écrivait des histoires. Instagram est arrivé. Et en fait, Instagram, ça a tout changé. La page Instagram servait vraiment de vitrine. En fait, ça servait vraiment à montrer ce qui se passait dans le blog et d'essayer justement d'attirer les gens vers nos sites. Bon, maintenant, effectivement, ça a un petit peu changé parce qu'Instagram a tellement pris les devants que les gens s'intéressent beaucoup plus à combien tu as de followers sur Instagram que est-ce que les gens lisent ton blog. Influenceur, ce qui m'énerve, c'est que c'est pas nous qui nous sommes donné ce nom-là. Et c'est un mot très arrogant, je trouve. To influence, c'est vraiment avoir presque une autorité, enfin, pas une autorité, mais c'est vraiment... je sais pas, pour moi, je trouve que c'est pas ça que je fais. Moi, je me considère un peu comme un filtre. Sur ma plateforme, j'ai une vision et je partage ce que je fais, ce que je vois, ce que j'aime. Mais c'est de l'inspiration, en fait, plus qu'autre chose. La génération slash, un peu styliste, un peu blogueuse, un peu journaliste. Moi, maintenant, j'ai mon podcast qui est sur iTunes, qui marche très bien. Je suis super contente. Le podcast, on a beaucoup réfléchi. On s'est dit, on veut que ce soit un podcast qui ait quand même un rapport avec la mode. On veut que ce soit léger, on veut que ce soit fun, on veut que ça parle aux filles de notre génération, mais on veut quand même que ça ait de la substance. Je suis quelqu'un qui bosse dur et qui n'est pas là juste pour me pavaner devant un show et me faire photographier. Au contraire, j'ai vraiment envie d'avoir ma place, ma voix et de pouvoir continuer autant que je peux dans cette industrie.
Talking about fashion with substance is something Alice Pfeiffer has been doing for years. Alice is a talented journalist and the editor-in-chief of Antidote magazine. She's known for writing about fashion through a sociological prism, which provides a new view of the industry, one that is more critical and political.
Je suis franco-britannique, j'ai fait un master de Gender Studies il y a maintenant une petite dizaine d'années à la London School of Economics. Et à côté de ça, je m'intéressais beaucoup à la mode et toutes les cultures dites interdites par les milieux universitaires. Les premiers magazines pour lesquels j'ai bossé, un peu naturellement, on m'a avant tout proposé de faire des petites marques de mode. Je pense que pour un mec, ça aurait été beaucoup trop castrateur. J'ai commencé donc à International New York Times, où là, en l'occurrence, je travaillais juste avec le rédac-chef des hors-séries, donc j'ai tout fait, de l'écologie à l'éducation, à la joaillerie, Bon. Et après, j'ai bossé pour le Dazed and Confused, pour Interview, pour Monocle, Wallpaper, Heidi, pour l'Express Style, pour Les Inrocks, pour une chronique que j'ai encore maintenant. J'étais au Monde pendant 2 ans, et après, je suis passée rédactrice en chef de Antidote. Moi, j'essaie de faire quelque chose qui connecte la plus simple des tendances à quelque chose de beaucoup plus large et sociologique. Je pense que c'est parler de choses importantes de façon abordable, c'est-à-dire ne pas enfermer le lecteur dans... S'il faut parler de politique, fais-le de façon où on apprend quelque chose, mais qui ne va pas non plus aliéner complètement un lecteur qui n'est pas un lecteur de politique classique. S'il faut parler de choses sociologiques, fais-le de façon qui soit complètement démocratique. Et si tu dois parler de choses légères, a priori, fais-le de façon un peu plus maligne et fouillée. Donc avoir vraiment ce double truc. Quand on parle de mode, on parle que de prêt-à-porter de luxe et de haute couture. Mais si tu traites le vêtement de façon globale, en fait, tu traites de quelque chose qui est complètement universel. Tout le monde a un rapport aux vêtements, à l'ornement, à la façon dont tu présentes ton corps, à la façon dont tu présentes ton corps à travers les âges, les classes sociales. Ça, c'est quelque chose qui est vrai partout. C'est une erreur de ne pas considérer le vêtement dans toute sa globalité et dans tout son pouvoir politique. Aujourd'hui, en tant que journaliste, tu dois avoir un produit qui est un tout petit peu réfléchi, un tout petit peu creusé, avec un angle ou un parti pris un peu plus politique, parce que expliquer aux filles comment elles vont se réparer leur point de sèche, elles n'ont pas vraiment besoin de toi pour le faire déjà. Non, je pense qu'on a trop longtemps pris les filles pour des simples consommatrices. Il y a une pensée politique chez les femmes qui est peut-être pas assez éveillée dans la presse de mode classique ou dans certaines presses de mode classique et qui n'attend qu'à ce qu'on lui raconte des choses plus fouillées.
I left Paris and went back to New York, where I'd meet 2 empowering models who are using their influence in the industry and on social media to magnify their voices in support of various causes. The All Woman Project was created to show the world that all women are beautiful by displaying true, positive and stunning, unretouched campaign images.
Goddesses, I am all je suis femme.
Clémentine Dessau is a model and a body-positive activist, as well as the co-founder, along with Charlie Howard, of the All Woman Project.
I never really grew up thinking that I could ever be a model. Like, that was never like a career possibility for me. It was always like, oh, if I was skinny, maybe I would be pretty enough to be a model. But that was never a plan. And then when I started seeing those girls, I remember I was telling my mom, oh, well, she kind of looked like me, then maybe I could be a model too. Well, when I first started, it was almost no representation of plus-size women. The All Women Project came from a meeting that we had like a little over a year ago, like a year and a half ago with Charlie. And she had just arrived in New York from London, and she had just quit her own agency because they say she was not skinny enough. And she was tired of hearing this from them. So she had moved to New York, signed with my agency. So we met, and this first meeting, we right away started going on about the lack of diversity in general, like our friends that are Black, that are color Asians, they just don't get the same chances as we do. And it kind of went on for like 2 hours, and at the end of it, we're like, so what are we, like, as models, what can we do?
Clémentine and Charlie decided to create their own campaigns, featuring an array of women of all shapes, sizes and ethnicities, posing together for photographers, Heather Hazan and Lily Cummings. The first campaign premiered in Vogue and went viral, along with a print run of more than 500,000 copies within a week.
Younger women think that whatever is in the media is truth. The goal is to put as much diversity in the media and in social media to show them that everything is okay. That show them every single color, every single body shape, every gender, like whatever they are fine because they are represented out there. It's really important because we only believe what we actually see. And if you don't see it, then you have no way to project yourself.
The founders of the All Woman Project aren't the only ones who felt the need to help others and use their power and visibility in the industry for positive change. This afternoon, I'm meeting with Toni Garn in her neighbourhood. Toni Tony is one of the most successful models of her generation, as well as an actress and an activist. We sat down to talk about the foundation she started last year, which is raising money for advocating and advancing girls' rights.
I started making money when I was 14. So for me, I was being brought up quite well. We never had any money issues at home. It was more normal. You're a young girl, you're making money, you're very lucky. Why don't you see how you can help other people, and especially help other girls? I am who I am because I was raised in this industry. I'm in the only industry where women, almost all models, female models, make more money than the male models. So I have a certain confidence and power in me that I want to give back.
Tony has been sponsoring girls since she was 16 years old. At the age of 21, she became global ambassador for Plan International's Because I Am a Girl campaign. She believes that, given a chance, girls can change the world. And she's fighting to make education more accessible to girls who need it the most with the help of her industry.
Now my project is that I'm building hostels, which means the girls can live on the school campus. And that's really the most important thing because that really eliminates or very much lowers the chance that the girls are going to have any violence on the way to school because they're going to live on the school campus. They say every year a girl goes to school longer, she gets 10% more income for the rest of her life. So I realized my biggest connection to how to raise money is the fashion industry. And what does the fashion industry have more than anything else? It's clothes, right? That's how the flea market idea came together. I'm asking a lot of my model friends and a lot of designers and stylists and anyone to give me their old or used or vintage clothes. So the last 2 years, I did the flea market myself, which is a lot of work. I collected like a van and I went to my friends' houses and picked up the clothes and I steamed everything and I looked on eBay how much is a 10-year-old Bottega bag worth. I didn't know. So I knew I needed to find an online seller. That's how I found Vestiaire Collective.
Welcome. Hey, come on in.
I knew they were doing really, really amazing selling of vintage pieces, which is essentially what I'm doing, and they were interested in helping me. So they're doing this, and 100% of the next flea market sales are going to my projects.
Super fun dress donated by Giselle from Versace. Why is it still here? This is amazing. I can't believe no one tried this on. It's the craziest fabric. It looks so cool. It's super sticky. And Giselle donated this. And tomorrow, everything's gonna be sold. Let's hope.
So with the flea market money, it's all gonna go to Zimbabwe. So 3 schools, I hope we can build 3. I already signed the extension for everything. So if the flea market doesn't raise the money, I have to do something else. But they're definitely gonna be built.
This beautiful city of New York is hosting a colourful and eventful fashion week. During this crazy time, I had the chance to meet up with another member of this new fashion generation. This new face started working in the industry as an intern, like so many others. After working for various magazines, she decided to start her own. Meet Veronica Helbrunner, the co-founder of the online magazine Hey Woman.
Hi, hello. Nice to meet you. Let's go up in my room. I always was obsessed with fashion. I always wanted to buy what I really wanted and didn't want to discuss with my parents. So I started my first side job during school with 13. I worked in a supermarket, and then I went on, and by 17, I was also modeling a little bit. And then I realized, oh, fashion industry, that's interesting. I think I want to be an editor.
Lose your mind, let it go.
After that, I got an offer at Harper's Bazaar. They just opened in Germany. That was always my dream. I moved for that to Berlin. It's a very strong name, a very strong title, so everything's very set, there's not really room for interpreting it your way or you have to follow that one road. And very quickly I realized that I wanted to do something on my own. And funnily enough, exactly the next day after I quit, I met Julia, my partner. We wanted to create a platform that is kind of a merger of magazines and blogs. We always chose to grow slowly. We didn't want to have an investor because we exactly didn't want already from the beginning have another voice. So we chose to do it all by ourselves. But I find it very exciting to be able to have a job that is fun and fulfilling and changing, and I can evolve, and I can also help other people do the same.
Move around.
On our way to the Marc Jacobs show, I had the time to ask her if social media and the street style phenomenon had an impact on her career.
You know, I was very shy in the beginning. I went to the shows, okay, I got photographed. I liked some of the pictures a lot, so I posted them and felt a bit weird about it. Before, without street style, you know, I was just somebody, just an editor. I don't know, it's like, it's very, in my case, very, very positive. And it also opened many doors for me and gave me many opportunities to do things. For example, starting my own business.
There's some times I'm involved.
These new faces have forged their own paths in the industry. They are not afraid to take risks for what they believe in and have made positive advancements inside and outside the industry through their platforms.
There's so much that's in store for the time, for us all. Gotta go, gotta see what the world offers me. You're right, you're just fine. Take the time, lose your mind, let it go to a place where all will erase. You're right, you're just fine. Take the time, lose your mind, let it go.
Tu regardes bien droit devant toi.
I'm a young fashion journalist. For 1 year, I travelled across the globe to meet some of the most incredible women of the fashion industry. Starting in Paris, then London, and finally New York City, I came across women who are making fashion history. They are not only designers, they are bloggers, models, journalists, photographers, chief curators, and even a hairstylist. These women not only showed me their work, we talked about their careers, lives, and their hopes and dreams for the future. All of these women are bold. They are brilliant, passionate, talented, kind, and inspiring. This is my journey. These are their stories. Ce sont elles.
À la vôtre, champagne!
To end this journey on an optimistic note, I decided to meet some of the young talents of the industry. From Cochet, the luxury streetwear brand, to the young Maurine Pagani, the Ukrainian designer Julie Pascal, and Joanna Sinik, I've realized that these women are part of the new generation, leading a fashion and cultural revolution. They are the new guard of fashion. We are in Paris at the Cochet studio. Cochet is one of the new vanguard labels everybody is talking about. Founded by Christelle Cochet, a French designer who studied in Central St. Martin's before working for prestigious houses. Cochet is at the crossover of high fashion, street culture, and contemporary art. The brand is open to the world and addresses different classes and generations. Cochet is elegant, modern, and refined, and offers a new view on fashion. Christelle Cochet is a busy businesswoman, handling almost everything in her self-financed label. I met her 24 hours before her Autumn-Winter 2018 show.
Moi, j'ai pincé ici. Oui. Il faut au moins que tu pinces tout ça parce que sinon, on voit la poitrine, c'est pas très beau. C'est notre 4e défilé. Ouais. Voilà. Tout s'est fait de façon très naturelle et c'est bien enclenché. Et on a eu beaucoup de soutien dès le début. J'étais passionnée par le dessin, par toutes les activités manuelles et finalement peut-être que ça a été la révélation de pouvoir se dire « Ah, en fait, ça peut être un métier d'être créatrice ». Et puis très tôt, en fait, c'est devenu une passion, un objectif. Alexandra, walk. J'essaye vraiment de travailler sur l'histoire de la couture, sur l'artisanat que je mélange avec un esprit de la street culture. On a fait ce défilé au Japon, à Tokyo. On a gardé le même principe. On allait défiler à Harajuku dans la rue, donc c'était assez dingue. C'était la première fois qu'un défilé a été autorisé dans les rues de Tokyo. C'est suivi par un shooting avec les photographes Frédéric Massabio et Mehdi Medassi qui travaillent avec moi depuis le début. Donc il y a Benny, Taka, Akitaka et Sayo. Demain, ils seront présents sur le défilé parce que c'était pour moi important d'avoir cet échange de culture, cet échange de personnes, d'amitié qui se suit à travers les villes.
We are in the historical cabaret music hall of Paris, Les Folies Bergères, where Christelle and her team are watching the last rehearsal before the show. Since the beginning of the brand, the Cochet shows have always been open to the public, reminding us of the generosity of the Cochet team.
De monde en bas. Ouais, il y a du monde, vraiment beaucoup. Tu stresses pas, ça va, on va devant. Tu rentres vers toi et puis tu fais ton tour simplement. C'est super joli. Bonjour.
Bonjour. I'm gonna make it. So gypsy, right? Okay. Ça n'a pas été.
Pas longtemps.
La collection en fait est aboutie, tout est parfait, les filles sont sublimes, donc c'est un super beau moment pour moi, quoi. Beaucoup d'émotions.
Christelle is part of this new generation who doesn't see barriers, social norms or beauty norms, and who are definitely not setting up walls, but instead building bridges between people through fashion. Paris Fashion Week has officially started, and this season it's a young Ukraine-born designer, Julie Pascal, who opened the fashion ball.
Nice to meet you too.
Julie studied architecture before launching her brand Pascal in 2013. A year later, she was shortlisted for the LVMH Award, and her 2016 Spring-Summer collection was displayed in Colette's window in Paris.
This collection is about urbanism and plants, nature. I want it to be big and beautiful and send this message of simple beauty. But I'm nervous, as always.
Her design foundation is really part of the brand DNA. Her minimalist silhouettes are made with original materials and fabrics, and she's also using laser cutting techniques. Ukraine is just beginning its foray into fashion, and Pascal is one of the first Ukrainian brands to shine internationally. I'm leaving Julie to meet another young designer. This is Joanna Sinik, Wanda Nyland founder and designer. We are at a rehearsal 3 hours before her show. Joanna started in the industry as a stylist and then a casting director. 5 years ago, she started Wanda Nyland, a rainwear brand that in a few years she successfully turned into a full ready-to-wear collection. It's also the new Parisian go-to brand. Today, she's a superwoman, running everywhere, checking everything and guiding the models before her third show, while being 8 months pregnant. Joanna's new collection was an ode to the powerful woman who inspired her. She also worked with the jewelry designer Kim Mi-hai to make a strong statement through an accessory collection of US, European and British coins, stamped with the faces of 3 women they admire: Nina Simone, Simone de Beauvoir and Malala Yousafzai.
Please everyone, no keeps, no fashion show story, cool and much more cool than I can be. Again? Oh, voilà.
Last year, Joanna Sonique won Andam's top prize and received the €250,000 Grand Prix. The Andam Prize is one of the many prizes created in order to promote the next generation of designers. Winning alumni includes Martin Margiela, Iris van Herpen and Victor and Rolf. Fashion festivals are some of the best places to discover new talents. Yves Saint Laurent and Karl Lagerfeld, for instance, were both acclaimed at the International Walmart Prize, and the rest is history. So in my quest to find the new guard of designers, I decided to go to Elles, in the south of France, where every spring, the Elles Festival of Fashion and Photography is held. The Elles Festival lasts 4 days. During this time, the young talents present, explain and show their collections to a lot of people, including a jury, journalists and buyers. Here are some of the collections presented during the festival by the young designers in competition. During this festival, one of the emerging designers really caught my attention. She studied in Belgium at the La Cambre Fashion School before joining the Balenciaga design team. Her first collection, called A Radical Call for Love, represented the French and Turkish culture in an elegant, feminine and sportwear chic way.
The idea of this collection is really to have, like a piece that is really easy to dress, and you have pockets everywhere. It's a lot about merging also codes, so you have the sportwear codes, and then you also have really couture vibes in that collection. All the pieces are closed with zip. It's really easy to put on, and it's really about something contemporary. So it's inspired, of course, on the past culture, but it's really present right now. So it's really not about nostalgia, but really about something new, something that we want now. Then you have this branding here that is referring, of course, to the century of Islamic culture, and of course to sportwear. Like I have my boyfriend working with me, my sister that you just met, and the team is quite small. For the production part that you asked, then we keep producing everything in France and in Belgium. So that is something really important for me, also to keep the really good quality of the clothes that you see here today. Time is really important right now, and young designers should also understand that we have to do things time by time and do not try to go too quick. It's just really nice to be able to talk with people and to express what you want to do, and also you meet a lot of people. It's just nice to, fashion is also about that, you know, like talking and meeting people.
Maurine's first collection has already been bought by some of the most prestigious stores. Plus, a few weeks after the Year Festival, she won the LVMH prize for emerging talent.
Prize winner is, drum roll, Maurine Pagani.
Thank you to everyone at my team, and thank you very much.
This incredible journey of mine will end here, where some talents are starting their own journey in the industry. All of the incredible women I had the chance to meet this year are shaping the past, present and future of fashion. They are not only writing history for the industry, but also for women, and I'm thrilled to see what they're going to dream up and get done next.
We're getting too close, but I don't wanna let you in. I think it's time that we let go.
Maintenant, on peut aller boire des verres, on invite tout le monde et on va boire.
Here's a kiss and a rose for everything we could have been. 'Cause baby, we're getting too close, but I don't wanna let you in. We're getting too close. I've watched you make all the plans. My ideas just make you mad. Didn't expect you to just force my hand.